Hello and welcome to the vlog. This is For the Love of Song. This goes out on Blues and Roots Radio and also Cambridge 105 and on my YouTube channel and on my socials. This is a vlog that basically focuses on one artist and 3 songs from that artist, looking at the way in which the songs are constructed and looking at how wonderful they are. I am a fan of song and I pick artists that write really great songs. Today we're looking at Nancy Kerr. Nancy Kerr is one of the patrons of the Kimpton Folk Festival, which happens this year on Saturday the 1st of July here in Kimpton in Hertfordshire. And Nancy and James have been patrons since the very first year of the Kimpton Folk Festival. So I'm going to spend some time looking at her work. James Fagan, you deserve your very own vlog. So I'm going to focus on Nancy this time and some of the work she's done. I'm going to choose 3 songs and then we're going to look in detail at some of those songs and some of her playing, some of the lyrics as well. So to start with, Nancy Kerr, daughter of Sandra Kerr and daughter of Ron Elliott. Ron Elliott was a Northumberland pipe player. Sandra Kerr was, looking down for this, so an English concertina player, a dulcimer player, a singer. She won the Folk Singer of the Year award at BBC in 2015. She was born in London. She lives in Sheffield with James Fagan, who she's married to. He's an Australian bouzouki player, fantastic musician, incredible. I've seen him many, many times. Just going right back to the start. So the first couple of albums were with Eliza Carthy. First album called Eliza Carthy, Nancy Kerr in 1993. Second album called Shape and Scrape in 1995. She also did an album with her mum, Sandra, called Neat and Complete in 1996. And then she's, from what I worked out, 6 albums with James, alongside Fellside Records. And they've done many, many albums together. They also team up in a quartet called the Melrose Quartet. It's a Sheffield-based quartet. James and Nancy, also with Richard and Jess Arrowsmith. And then also a trio. She played with Martin Simpson, Andy Cuttin and her on a couple of albums as well. So lots of collaboration along the way. There's also needs to be mentioned some of the commissioned work that she's done. So I first came across Nancy on the album Full English. This was the Vaughan Williams collection at Cecil Sharp House. It was to celebrate that being brought to the public. And the album is called Full English. And she played with an array of fantastic folk singers. And for me, I just thought Nancy was amazing on that. She also played on the Elizabethan Sessions, which is was commissioned by the Folk by the Oak, the festival. There's some amazing songs on that as well. Also plays with Martin Simpson on that album and Seth Lakeman as well, which is a fantastic album if you've not heard that. And then kind of more recently, the Sweet Libertines album, which featured Martin Joseph, who was on a previous pod. This was looking at some of the laws that have been passed. I think they had access to some of the really old laws in the House of Commons and the House of Lords. And they went away to write songs about some of the laws that happened. Martin famously wrote his Nye song, Nye Bevan, which is about the NHS. And then more recently, probably a lockdown session kind of thing. It was Leon Rosselson, and Nancy did 31 new arrangements of his songs, which are on YouTube as well. So I'm not even talked about a song yet. I mean, she's had such a fantastic career, such an amazing singer, such an amazing fiddle player, a writer, a arranger. She was at Newcastle University in their folk music department. She's now at Leeds University. I think Leeds College of Music, I think it is. She's a fantastic person. So stop talking and let's listen to a song by Nancy Kerr. This song's called Dark Honey.
One summer's evening, and the kids ran free. All the bees were swarming in the cemetery, and they supped that sweetness their natures crave from the flowers that grew on every grave. And you tell your children, life finds a way. You can reap dark honey from the dying day, and weave a little sweetness to soothe our stings and the slightest suffering winter brings. Some other children some distant home. They fear the humming of a different drone. Some sugar's flowing from every pore. Some hunger's growing on the spoils of war. And you tell your children life finds a way. You can leave dark honey from the dying day and leave a little sweetness to soothe our stings and the slightest suffering winter brings.
So that was Nancy Kerr, Dark Honey. It was taken from the Murmurs album, which was the trio that she did with Martin Simpson and Andy Cutting. It's a brilliant song. I think her voice is fantastic on that. A really lovely bit of fiddle playing as well. The line that rings true all the way through is that life finds a way. I think it's a really great song. Sounds like she's singing it to her children, to her family, just saying that life will find a way. And having seen her perform that live, there's an interesting lyric. It says, on the bank of England, some city bees, she built a hive of slavery, and her sweet survival in the midst of ban is to make dark honey from a Coca-Cola can or cola can. Brilliant. So it's the idea that actually, the world's polluted. Yeah, the world is terrible. The environment is really being affected. But life finds a way, and these bees had used cola cans to actually, to make honey. And the honey is darker than normal. So it's a very positive song. It's not a kind of fist-punching ecological song. It's kind of, you know what, no matter what we do, no matter what terrible things we might do to this planet, life will find a way. It's a fantastic song, really inspiring. So well done, Nancy.
They came in the night and their ships were as black as the ocean. It was Hawkins, the dread privateer, and all of his crew. They had whips, they had shackles and cannons to serve Gloriana. And they've taken my love to the shores of Hispaniola. My love, he was strong and he looked to his land and his children. Proud, unfettered and free, he walked in the sun. Now he's bound for the darkness of England to serve Gloriana, or to spill out his blood on the shores of Hispaniola.
That's Nancy Kerr, taken from the Elizabethan session, the 2014 Folk by the Oak commissioned album. The song is The Shores of Hispaniola. It tells the story of John Hawkins, who in 1562 was the beginnings of the English involvement in the slave trade in West Africa. He left Plymouth for the west coast of Africa. Queen Elizabeth personally supported Hawkins and even lent him a ship called the Jesus of Lubeck. The irony there. And Nancy, in the song, I really think she captures the grief of the mothers and the wives of those people who've been taken captive. It's a really powerful song. Not just in 2014, but even today, really, I'd say. I love the first verse. So they came in the night with ships as black as the ocean. It was Hawkins' dread privateer and his crew. They had whips, they had shackles to serve Gloriana. And they've taken my love to the shores of Hispaniola. It's a fantastic song. It's really powerful, really emotive. Doesn't give you any answers, but it raises all the questions. And the sad thing is that we live in a world where there's more slaves now than there ever was in the 15th, 16th, 17th century. But yeah, another fantastic song, really well played. The arrangement is fantastic. There's some amazing musicians on that album. If you haven't heard it, please go and check it out. Thank you.
some changing rhyme, some embraces never bind. Oh, hand me down your dancing line, then I'll know I'm home, then I'll know I'm home. Hand me down some changing rhyme, some embraces never bind. Oh, hand me down your dancing line, then I'll know I'm home, then I'll know I'm home. When I arrived in this old town, hand me down, oh, hand me down. When I arrived in this old town, some 40 voices they gathered round, and I was coming home, I was coming home. Hand me down some changing rhyme, some embraces never bind. Oh, hand me down your dancing line, then I'll know I'm home, then I'll know I'm home.
So that was the Melrose Quartet from their album The Dominion, and the song was Hand Me Down. That's a really big folk song. Some fantastic 4-part harmonies there, some fantastic fiddle playing as well. It's a dancing song, isn't it, really? I mean, it's a great folk song. It's a rousing chorus. I can still hear the church here in Kimpton when they did their live album, and the Melrose Quartet played, and the whole of the church was just singing this chorus. It's fantastic. So, hand me down your dancing line, some embraces never bind. Then I'll know, then I know I'm home. So it's just a great song, positive, uplifting. Almost can see people dancing, almost see people singing. It's a great chorus. So that was Nancy Kerr, a fantastic fiddle player, amazing songwriter, wonderful voice. An amazing back catalogue of songs, and involvement in solo work, duo work, trio work, commissioned work. Plays with her husband James Fagan, who does deserve his own podcast. I do know James. And yeah, it's just an absolute pleasure to do this. If you've not heard any of Nancy Kerr's stuff, please dive back in. Please listen to Elizabethan Session. Please listen to the Full English. Please listen to the Melrose Quartet. They are fantastic. They're amazing, and they are British folk at its best. And you will really enjoy that. And she's coming to Kimpton with James on the 1st of July for the Kimpton Folk Festival. So if you want to see her live, then please get yourself a ticket. There's a Kimpton in Hampshire. Don't go to that one. Go to the one in Hertfordshire, not far from Luton Airport, just off the M1 or the A1. And you'll have a fantastic time. We've got some great other artists, which I will do vlogs about a bit later on. But thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much, Les, for playing this on your radio show, Cambridge 105. And also, I know this goes out on the Blues and Roots podcast as well. So thank you so much for listening. My name is Steve Warner. I go by the name of SteveWarnerFolk. And I hope you enjoyed this podcast. Thanks very much.